My name's Sam Worthington. I played Jake Sully in Avatar. Can't believe it's actually the 10th anniversary of the release of this movie, and I'm very excited to answer some fan questions. So let's start. Sam, I heard you had to go through several screen tests. What do you remember about the casting process? What was the most memorable part? I remember it was very long. It took well over a year of several auditions along the way, but I didn't look at them as auditions. I looked at the process as, well, if I don't get it, at least I got to work with Jim Cameron in some respect. And they were very collaborative and really quite painless, to be honest, because it was just like working with Jim every day. Sam, being a lead in such a big movie, did you feel a lot of pressure? How did you deal with it? When you're making the movie, you have no idea what kind of impact it's going to have or if it's even going to be seen. So I didn't really feel any pressure as we were making it. When it comes out, it's out of your hands anyway, so the world changes and people change, but I tend to think that you don't change. So the craziness is around you, and you just kind of go back to trying to do your job or get another job. Sam, as an Australian, how hard was it to work with both the American accent and the Navi language elements? I have enough trouble with English, let alone Navi, so I found it extremely difficult. and I'm not the best at American accents, I'm the first to admit that, but you get through it. I think they had the Navi on big boards for me to read, rather than me having to kind of memorize it all the time, so that was a bit of a cheat. Sam, what do you have in common with Jake? With Jake in the first movie, I based him on my nephew, Ridley, who at the time was 9 years old, because to me that was a better way in than thinking of him as a tough Marine. There was something about Ridley's rebellious streak, and it was even more so than mine at the time, and he was also very curious, and I thought if you're going to another planet, that curiosity really helps. And so there was a playful aspect to Jake that I wanted to bring across, not just this hardened soldier. And you know, to me the story is kind of like about a kid standing up to bullies, so having a 9-year-old as your basis for the character really I felt was a pretty good way in and could help me send out a good message. Sam, what was the most fun scene to shoot? Well, all of it really. Basically when you make a movie like this, it's kind of like being a kid in a play park. It's not one day which is not challenging, it's not one day that's not fun. So I found every single day of it fun, all 100 million months of shooting. Were you forced to prepare differently for your scenes as a human and your scenes as an avatar? No. The essence of Jake is basically the same. He's a guy that overlooks, you know, any challenge, takes on any challenge quite easily. Doesn't matter if he's in a wheelchair or if he's 9 foot tall and blue, surrounded by a society he doesn't understand. It was always just about that philosophy, just driving forward no matter what. What was it like working with James Cameron? Jim's the best. That's it, simple as that. He's very collaborative, he cares, which is very rare sometimes in this industry. He cares very deeply about every single section, every single person, every single nuance of your character, every single detail. That's what makes him a great director. What kind of training did you have to do for the part? Well, we all did lots of training. We all did a lot of Navi training with the bows and arrows, knife fighting, stick fighting, lots of fighting. And that was basically, that's the easy part. They're the mechanics of these type of movies where you just get to learn a lot of set of skills and then put them into play, and then the tough stuff the stunt guys do. But to me, it was more about how the mindset of these people, like they're a survivalist kind of tribe, And so my kind of training was done on the spot, like Jake's training is done throughout the movie. So some days I would go in blind and just enjoy the process of what I was learning that day from, say, Neytiri or whoever else was in the scene with me. What was it like to see your character in the film for the first time? I was very lucky in the sense that I got to see the transition of Jake as a Navi throughout the movie, throughout the course of however long I was filming. I got to see different renderings. So it wasn't like one kapow surprise where I saw the whole film. Jim was very nice to invite us in and keep us fully in that process of the development of the world and the technical aspects of how your performance is captured. So I never got a wow moment. I was more just intrigued at how they were doing it. Sam, if you could actually visit Pandora, what would be the first thing you would do? I have no idea. Probably do some of the cool stuff that we're doing on Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 5 that we're not allowed to talk about. If someone were to watch Avatar for the first time now, if someone were to watch Avatar for the first time now, what would you want their takeaway to be? I always thought of Avatar as a movie about finding your place in the world. And I think that's the main message, that if you can get a movie that it doesn't matter if you're 7 or 70, it's about it's about the journey of trying to figure out what your place is and how you fit in and how you can help others. I think that's a great message. So hopefully that message still resonates 10 years after. And I think even more so now in a world where we're all kind of, struggling to survive a bit with the effects of climate change and things like that. I think Jim touched on them and knew that was going to only ramp up. And the Navi they're a tribe of people that are trying to keep their planet alive. And I think, even now more so, that's way more prevalent.